Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Tuesday. It's July 1st. This will be our chart lesson for today, and we're starting um, another month. This today, June. I don't know where it went. It just flew past. But we're starting July, so you can see that we did top out yesterday, right at the top of the range, and we just had an inside bar today that's basically a range day. And that's pretty much what you'll see when we flip over to the 2000 tick chart, just a range day. We're definitely in overbought territory. We're up above the upper band in the envelope, and we're turning down off of previous resistance. Will we continue to push up and make an all-time new high? We'll have to see, but we're really close. We're not far off at all from an all-time new high. So I think we figured out it was 60, what was it? It was this bar right here, 68 something. Or was this the new high? 62.70, 50, and I think this was 62.80 something. Somewhere over here. Maybe this was it. 62.85 and a quarter. There it is. So that would be, we've got to surpass that to beat our all-time contract high, and we're real close. We're less than 40 points away, really. So about 40 points away. But anyway, there it is. You can see what it looks like on the daily chart. Let's flip over to the 2000 tick chart and take a look and go through the trades, and we'll wrap this day up. Okay, here it is. You can see that just a range day, and we closed pretty much. Oh, we're not done yet. There's still a little bit of time left in today. It's only 3:25. My chart doesn't seem to be moving. I'm gonna pause this and reload it just to be sure I got everything here. Never mind, it is moving. It's just real slow. I saw it click a couple of contracts off there. But yeah, super slow, really, honestly, to be after 3 o'clock. Of course, it does slow down then, but I've never seen it that slow. So, but you can see it just moved again there. So I'm not going to reload it. But you can see the sideways. We're just working both sides of yesterday's close and the midline of this range. And looks like we are, unless something really happens in the next 30 minutes, looks like we're going to close above the midline. So still 30 minutes. A lot could happen in 30 minutes, but we'll see what happens. But let's zoom in here and work our way back through the trades. There was a news item, high volatility news item at 7:30 this morning. Actually, it might have been 7:15, something like that. But I marked that period out. And so you really couldn't start trading until slightly after that. So really by 7:40 or 7:50, you could start trading again. And notice that we had a break and a new low here, and then we had two legs up and a second entry short with a very nice signal bar. The problem is we already had the break and new low, so it was risky going short again because we might be reversing. But it's still a second entry short. It's still a good setup. Everything else looks good. We did get, it's hard to see it here, but there is a channel up with a break and a move to a new high. So you may take that trade. I marked it green. There's some reasons to be a little concerned about it. It gets, once you get a break in a new low, especially a big move like that, every setup thereafter becomes becomes a bit more riskier because everything should have played out. And you see we did end up reversing here. So that's what you have to be concerned about right there. But I think you can take that trade. And you just get a first entry. And there is a second entry, but that's an inside bar. I think you have to wait. And we just continue to chop up. And then we do get a close outside here. We didn't quite make a new high. And we get a second entry long and push to a new high, and then it turns down. And there's no setup there on the second entry long because the signal bar is no good. But notice we did make a triple test here. And we did put in a new high with a good signal bar. I like going short there. And you would hope for a bigger move than this, but that's all you get. And it's still an easy scalp. You get what you take what you can get. And unfortunately, you just get a scalp out of that one. Then we work our way back up again. We do get a second entry short here, but when it breaks lower, it's a lower high, but it's just kind of a doji type bar. So I don't think you want to go short there. Then we're just chopping sideways. But now there is a second entry short. There is a triple test here. The problem is there's not much room to the low here. So there's not really, I think there may be exactly 6 ticks, which is just what you have to have. No, there's not quite 6 ticks. So I think that's why I marked it green. I still like it, and there's a good chance it's going to work, but you just got to be careful with it. You might need to try to get a little better entry on that one. In other words, let it break lower and drop a limit order in, and you could have easily done that and got a better entry and then made sure you had room to scalp out. So that's how I would recommend playing that if you played it. And that gets a little more advanced. It's a little more advanced for some new people. Then we get a little failed break lower, and it takes off to the upside, but no setup there. Bearish signal bar. But we're working up. We get a first entry, and then you get a second entry right here, but the signal bar is no good again. And so no setup. And then another second entry here, but again, you got a double inside bar, and it's congested by then. So again, no setup. Then it reverses up and just turns back down again. We're just slowly working down, worked into this sideways. No setups in here. We kind of bottom out. And then they try to go lower, but you get at least a triple test here. And there is a new swing high with a first entry, second entry right there. And I think that signal bar is close, but I think it qualifies. So I like that entry, and that's a good move up. And you just get a first entry short. There is a break or close outside a new high all in one bar there. And that's a great move down, but there's just no real decent setup to enter that. Now, some of you might say, okay, that was a first entry, second entry, or maybe even a first entry, second entry, third entry. You can count it all those different ways. But to me, when you get this double bottom and you only have one leg up, that's just a first entry, so you can't enter there. You do get a second entry here, and the signal bar is even good enough, but it's right into, it looks like sideways congestion, and it's just not a very good setup. It's right into the previous lows, so I think you have to skip that one too. But notice what happens. You get another move, a break outside, another move down, and this does make a new swing high because it's higher than that one. So that's a second entry long with a nice signal bar right at the overnight lows. So you could take that one. I did mark it green because you're better off to wait on the higher low, which comes here. And if you took that, that's the trade of the day probably. It just takes off. And you should get a runner there most likely. Depends on how you played it. But runs up, close outside, new high. Then it makes a lower high but no setup. And then it makes a double top, a lower high off a double top with a good signal bar. So plenty of room to get out before the EMA. I like entering there. And boom, again, a big move down. And you should have got a runner on that one probably. So another nice move down. Then you get a close outside the new low. You get a higher low but no setup. You even get a failed attempt to go lower a third time. But you're below the EMA and it looks a little sideways, so I think you have to skip that. It runs up and then just chops sideways again. This one's tempting on a short, but I think you need to sit tight because there's not room to get out there. And you can see it just chops sideways before going on higher. And you do get a close outside, move to a new high. That is a second entry short there. Actually, that's a third entry. First, second, third, and then you get the lower high. You're better off to wait on the lower high regardless here. The only reason I marked this one green is because it's a really big bar for today. I mean, it's not huge in the scheme of things compared to what we've seen in the recent past, but it's still a pretty big bar, especially for today, and it looks a little sideways congested too. So I did mark that one green. But notice we're working down, close outside new low, and so now you got a breaking new low. So I like going long on that one. You're better off to wait on the higher low, so I marked that green. Then we come down and we bounce again, but this time you get a true second entry, and you do get a close outside the new low all in one. So I like going long on that one. and it looks very similar. Uh, it's like a repeat pattern of several we've seen across there, so I liked it. Same thing here, another repeat pattern. You're working down, close outside, new low, second entry long. And even though we're making a slightly lower low there, we are kind of turning in the same general area. And this one just takes off. Close outside, a couple of swings to a new high, and then you make a lower high, but prices don't break below it. And then you get another engulfing bar. Because it's engulfing, you need to wait for this one to close, and it's just a lower high basically. So again, you're better off to wait and see if you get a triple test or something, which you do here. And so I marked both of these green. Really, this one, just because it wasn't clear if we were going to go lower yet, I think you needed to wait on something after this double top, which it came here, but by that time it looks really congested. And it's not a perfect signal bar, although I do believe it's bearish enough. So again, I marked it green. This turns out to be a pretty nice move. You get a couple of legs down and a second entry long right here, and I did mark that one green. I think you can take that one. Again, you're better off to wait on the higher low, which comes here. And normally I probably would have made that one blue, except the bar is just so big. It's like 21 ticks. So it's not an ideal setup. But then you get a close outside. It tries to go higher once, twice. But you can't go short right into those 3-bar matching lows. Comes back, no signal bar, and then it reverses and goes higher. And again, no signal bar to go along there. So you just have to watch that one go. But notice the close outside, move to a new high, and then it turns down. But no signal bar there, and then it's into 230. So there's a few trades here today. It is mostly range trading. There's a few second entries in there, but they're not textbook within the trend. They're more of a mixed trading kind of second entries at reversal points, and so it makes it a little more difficult to determine if they're good entry points or not. But there it is. Again, just a range day today that it looks like we may still close higher. We bounced off yesterday's close again, and we'll see if we continue lower or if we go higher here. I didn't draw any kind of trend on this. I would assume we're going to probably look something like that. So we do have a close outside and a couple of legs down, but it may actually be a spike in channel. More like that, because that fits too. But we still get a close outside and 2 swings to a new low either way. So we may be done here to the downside. We may kind of drift sideways or back up. We'll just have to see how it plays out. It's too late to really trade now, regardless. So when you get it after 2:30, I don't recommend taking any trades. You're better off just to if you're already in a trade, you can continue to manage it after 2:30. But I wouldn't take any new trades after 2:30. I mean, like I've talked about before, if it's just into the 2:30 hour, a minute or 2 or 3, and it's a really good setup, by all means, you can still take that. But much after a couple of minutes into 2:30, I wouldn't take anything new. So anyway, there it is. Just a typical range day, mixed trading. No real big trends or anything. So we did, it was a wide enough range that you can have trends back and forth. But none of them really went from one side to the other. They're shorter term trends, usually only half of the range for the most part. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.